I was expecting it. All right, I am live on my whoa, live on my YouTube page, man. I'm having some technical difficulties. Forgive me. So here I am on multiple camera sources. Got three cameras running on me. Sorry, Facebook. Facebook's having some issues. See, I got this cell phone I'm running here. All right, here we are. Hopefully, this is it. So, I just wanted to talk a little bit about a couple things. I do have some news that kind of happened over the weekend for us Buffalo Bills fans. If you are not a Bills fan, it's not for you. But we won. Okay, it was the Washington Redskins, which is has been a subpar team this year. But on the other hand, we have the New England Patriots who lost. So now we're only a game behind them. So we're kind of Buffalo Bills fans, or what we call ourselves, Bills Mafia. You'll see hashtags all over the internet called Bills Mafia. So you got to check that out. So the Bills Mafia is very happy. Although Frank Gore, who I kind of nicknamed global warming because it sounds like Al Gore to me. It's kind of funny. Frank Gore, one of the top rushers of the NFL, so of all time, number 4, as a matter of fact, I think, and he's getting close to Barry Sanders within 100 yards of breaking his all-time record. That's 3rd place all time. That's great. But Buffalo Bills, we won. We're 6-2. Patriots, they lost. Thank you, Baltimore Ravens. We do have to, we do have to play the Ravens. We're playing the whole NFC Central, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns. They're all coming up, and we've already beat the Bengals, so that's not a bad thing. As far as the Bills go, right now we're all healthy. Devin Singletary is right now is rocking and rolling, man. We're excited about that. So I do have fantasy sports that I play, and football has always been my favorite. And since 1998, 99, when I discovered the internet, I was kind of a late bloomer. I started doing all these fantasy teams and started creating leagues. And now, this year I got seven different leagues, and it looks like I'm running all 7 of those. But I love fantasy sports too, so that's something I've been doing on the side. I do a lot of stuff, man. Look at my little setup in the back. I was in Florida for 12 years, and so some people know that Florida's big in football, sports, and so on. And looking behind me, I'm actually a fan of the Georgia Bulldogs. That's correct. The Georgia Bulldogs. Sorry, guys. So I was kind of happy the Bulldogs, they beat the Gators. The Gators are, I would say if my Florida college team would be the Gators if I did not go to the University of South Florida back in 2000. So I'm a Florida Bowl alum, even though I didn't complete the program down there. I'm now a University at Buffalo alum, or no, current student, which is also a bowl. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm USF. I would say I support them every time. And I think University at Buffalo played them within the last couple years. And I think we beat them up here in Buffalo. So our team is kind of like on the fringe as well. So we'll see how that goes. We're 5-4 as a college team, and we're bowl eligible with one more win. So that's a good thing. As far as other sports, the Washington Nationals, they won the championship. I was actually going for the Houston Astros, but that didn't happen. And, no big deal. Not really a big, huge baseball fan, but I still do participate in fantasy sports. As far as Hockey goes, just starting the season. The Buffalo Sabres are doing great. We lost the last 3 in a row though, so that's something that we're kind of like, kind of iffy about the way we started last year. We were number 1 almost through November, and then we just slumped and never made the playoffs again. So come on, Sabres, let's do this thing. So let's shout out for them Sabres, man. Let's make sure we root for our home team. For anybody that's not listening or does not subscribe to hockey or Buffalo sports, just stay tuned. We got a couple of things I want to talk about. And what else do we have? See, a basketball, Buffalo, we lost our basketball team in the 70s. They're now called the Los Angeles Clippers instead of the Buffalo Bruins or Buffalo Braves. I'm sorry. So, hey, it is what it is. We kind of supported Toronto Raptors last year when they won their championship. So that's the closest team we have to being local. And with around the corner, actually tomorrow, is the day to vote. Okay, you got to vote. It's primaries for certain local, wherever you live, your local governments, and some are statewide, some of are just regionally relevant. So make sure you vote tomorrow. I think they had some early voting in the state of New York, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's everywhere else, but you have the opportunity to voice your opinion through voting. That's one way of doing it. The other way is doing it is protesting, but I do not recommend rioting. Something that is very much frowned upon, in my opinion. Rioting does not solve any problems. It doesn't. It just creates more problems. And you do what you got to do, man. But try to keep it peaceful. Whatever it is that you stand for, do it in a peaceful way. Don't harm other people to prove your point, and just stay connected to the human race in a good, kind way, if you could. So, anyway, I do want to just bring up one thing. It's not really a big, huge news point, but while watching the football game last night, they were introducing some of the players. Somebody had posted a video clip of one of the players announcing themselves. And let me just see if I can find the who it was. Okay, Matthew Judon, Matthew Judon from the Baltimore Ravens. He announced himself as how they say Michael Judon, whatever college you went to. He actually says body built by Taco Bell. That's hilarious. I think I reposted on my Facebook page, but it just got me. You know what I mean? LOL, as the kids say. So I thought that was a funny point, and I watched a couple other clips of other things, but the one thing that got my attention was Patricia Heaton. She had guest starred as probably over a month ago, as a guest on late night or late show with Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert is, I don't think he's the greatest talk show host. He's not the worst, but he's not my favorite. But he does have some cool guests and some commentary that's funny. But in my opinion, all these political things, sometimes they're just not funny. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're for Trump, for Obama, against everybody, it doesn't matter. Some of these political things they're not really that funny. I was once a guest, not a guest. I was once a audience member of the Late Show when David Letterman had the realm back in I don't know, it was about over 10 years ago, maybe. And they have these applaud signs that make you cheer for things. And sometimes, the producers, they have their agenda as far as what they want you to applaud for. And the writers have to write clever jokes, and the host has to deliver the cleverness of that joke so that people could, I don't know, try to show their opinion uh, as positive or negative toward a certain candidate or whatever. Usually it's just for joke's sake, but not always is it for joke's sake. Sometimes it's for political agenda's sake. So, anyways, I don't have anything else beyond that to say about it. But Stephen Colbert had Patricia Heaton on his show just recently, and Patricia Heaton is pretty cool. She's been around on television since early 2000s. If I can't, I got to check her stats real quick. Oh, I don't have it up. Well, anyways, she's been around for a long time. Everyone loves Raymond. She was a guest. She was a star. She was the mother of the children, the wife of Raymond. Patricia Heaton was hilarious. She delivered her own style of comedy, and not just supplemented or complimented Ray Romano, but was actually a viable part of that comedy team. I think they all played a great part. 5 of them that stood out on that show. And Patricia has done Malcolm in the Middle. Or no, I'm sorry, not Malcolm in the Middle. It's just The Middle, right? You can chime in anytime. You can chat with me. The Middle. It was The Middle. My bad. Otherwise, we would get into the other stars. I want to step on their toes. So, anyways, Patricia Heaton was a guest star, and she is a devout Catholic. She was not shy in speaking about her faith, and was, incidentally enough, talking about sports, was a Cleveland native whose father was a writer for the Cleveland Plain Dealer. I never heard of that publication, but apparently her father wrote for this publication for the last 50 years, or for 50 years anyways. And but yeah, she was a Catholic. She joked about how being a Browns fan is similar to being a Catholic, where it's almost like punishment. She quotes that saying, "It builds character, to follow the Browns. Suffering, it goes with the Catholicism." I thought that was hilarious. I've never been like a Browns fan, so to speak. I did like Ozzie Newsome back in the day when he was a receiver for the team. But I can't ever say I've ever followed the Browns, so much to the point where, it mattered to me if they won or not. My teams were Bills, the Chargers, and ultimately when I moved to Florida in the Tampa Bay area, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So anyways, Patricia, she did shout out God in her interview. I do have a link to that on my Facebook page about the article. And I kind of wrote an article about that on my WordPress. I'm sorry, my the God Chaser, Great Lakes Christian Film Festival website. So I do have that link on my Facebook page, and that's Shawn Patrick Greene if you're looking for it. At any rate, the biggest thing that was got my attention was that she has been sober for 14 months, and that she was kind of bragging about that. So it'll be 15 now, I believe, if it goes back a little bit. So if she continued her sobriety, I really want to applaud her for that. But throughout this whole interview, she was just shouting out God and how her faith and her belief in God and all that stuff is much more important than her her career. She actually went to a missions trip before she even started her Hollywood career, in Los Angeles before returning and actually getting into the industry. But she did a lot of plays. She was an Ohio State University grad and did some plays and stuff. Went to New York, did some more acting classes, and but yeah, she's a woman of God that believes in God, and and it was just I thought it was kind of cool that she does not hide that. Now Stephen Colbert doesn't hide that fact that he is a Catholic and he believes in God and all that stuff, and he has faith, Christian faith. So not to put down anybody from any other belief systems or thinking. I believe a little bit beyond the Catholic faith on the Protestant side, and of course I'm a Bills fan too. So me and her probably have a long conversation about faith and football if we did sit down ever. Hopefully I could. You never know. But at this point, she's I'm just gonna give her a shout out for that. But you can go ahead and check out that article, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. Go to my Facebook, YouTube. Right now I'm live on my YouTube page as well, kind of showing the screenshots of all these things I was talking about, and especially that one. I thought that was hilarious. Body by Taco Bell. Keep that in your back pocket for a friend family gathering or something. The other thing is, last couple weeks it's been a big deal that Kanye West has been kind of like a big huge story, in the not necessarily in the the Christian, somewhat the Christian hip hop world, I would say. But, in the music industry as a whole, this whole Jesus is King album that he's released, there's a lot of people who are skeptical. There's a lot of people who are on the fence about what if they will support Kanye West's album. They're kind of like not sure if Kanye's, legitimate, or if he's just doing a money grab. I mean, his whole career, it seems like everything he's done was just to be controversial. And, rightfully so, people will be skeptical. I'd be skeptical too if Kanye was just doing this as a joke. But listening to the album, listening to his interviews, I do not believe that Kanye is lacking authenticity in his belief. I believe truly, and I don't know him personally, but judging by the fruit and what he's doing and the process of taking his music, doing the Sunday services that he does in different cities, that this is not a money grab, but this is an opportunity for him to finally break out of his music industry role and actually worship God and serve God. So I believe what he's doing is authentic. I believe what he's doing is trying to share his love and affection for Christ, Jesus Christ, and serve God with all his heart, all his soul, all his mind, all his strength. I mean, what did Jesus say? To sell all that you have and follow him. I think by him throwing in the towel with doing a complete gospel album is a sign of throwing it all in, and following Christ. So the thing is, this album is a #1 Billboard charting album. So did he lose anything? Of course not. In the world sense, no, he hasn't lost anything. I think his sales, his popularity, and everything won't change. Being popular doesn't necessarily mean being liked. For instance, I mean, him wearing a MAGA hat triggered a lot of people that dislike Donald Trump and his agenda. And so a lot of people that were thinking like that were not in favor of Kanye doing anything anymore because they supported Donald Trump. So that's kind of a shame, in my opinion. Whether you like Donald or not, I'm not going to argue that point right now. That's just not that's not this platform. We could talk about politics, instant message me, side note if you want. That's fine. We could talk all day. But at the end of the day, I'm a U.S. citizen, and I'm all for making sure our citizens live in peace and safety. I'm a U.S. veteran, U.S. Navy, so there are some core beliefs that I have that are going to be consistent with um, faith, God and country, and so on and so forth. So we'll just stop right there for now. But let's just talk about Kanye for a second. I listened to the whole album, Jesus King. And I have to say, this album to me is, I'm not going to say production value is high. It's not super high. I've heard a lot of Christian hip hop albums that have way better production, way better sound, but yet less authenticity of faith. Does that sound that okay? It's storytelling for some Christian hip hop artists. It's not about their faith, so to speak, although there might be some areas in their music that they'll have faith in it. But for the most part, most of the songs on this album are all about God, Christ, lifting the name of God and Christ up the whole album. So there's nothing missing when it comes to this kind of gospel or Christian hip hop or any other genre that's similar to that. Christian rhythmic, I like to call it. So man, this is in your face, point blank Christian content. Okay. It's a gospel album. It's a Christian hip hop album. It's authentic. I believe it's not something that's just made up to make some sales. He brought together people. He goes to different venues now and events that he creates and has altar calls at it. I mean, this is very similar to what has been going on. If anybody knows anything about the Christian world, and if you don't, I'll explain a little bit. In Redding, California, there's a church called Bethel Church, and Pastor Johnson runs the show. His son Brian runs the worship, and from the Bethel Church was birthed this the evangelistic music group called Jesus Culture. Some people know Kim Walker Smith, a very popular singer for that group. She does a lot on her own too, as well as far as singles. But they have probably been the catalyst for over a decade of what Christian or gospel, I wouldn't even say gospel, but Christian worship can do in an arena in a way that is not done at even a local church. They just focus on the worship aspect of it. At the end of it, they offer salvation. It's not as prevalent as some churches. Like some churches I'll go to will never ever have some sort of altar call. I'm talking Protestant now. So some churches will be nothing but worship. Some churches will be nothing but talk. And then some churches will be nothing but just soaking in the presence of God, so to speak. So every church has its own personalities, and it's really, in my opinion, there's really no set way to do something. And Kanye has definitely done that. He's done it the way he is experiencing God, and not the way a church or a denomination or a system of how to be religious has shown him what to do. He just kind of goes with the spirit, you know. Some might argue what spirit that is. I'm going to say, I believe that he is learning just as Paul was learning after Paul was, killing Christians. He had the encounter with Christ, and then he started his new journey kind of raw, like, okay, now what do I do? How do I do this Jesus stuff? I've never seen him create these miracles. All these apostles or disciples, they know all about this stuff. I don't really know about this stuff. I'm just going to do what I know what to do. He writes all these letters to a bunch of just churches that are building around the Mediterranean, and goes around and does what he feels God is showing him what to do. Just the Bible says the Holy Spirit taught him all things. So who's to say Kanye's not being led by the Holy Spirit or being taught by the Holy Spirit on how to conduct things? He doesn't conform to any system. He's never has. And as a result, his, I believe, a radical conviction to be a Christian, blatantly, not hiding, is important. And so he's doing what he feels is authentic. So that's just my take on it. So you guys can discuss. You can make some comments. You can give me some insight on the Facebook page. Like I said, I'm also on the YouTube page. Recording it for uploads for other platforms as well. So any questions, any comments? I mean, please, give me a topic if you'd like to talk about something. I'd love to share it. It could be sports, could be entertainment. It could be, how's your grandma? Whatever you want to talk about, I'm here for you. So, what else? What else is up that's been happening lately? Up here we've had in Buffalo, anyways, parts of the Northeast, anyways, we've had this weather that's blowing stuff all over the place. And it seems like every time this year we have that. We have one of those really, long wind storms that last at least 24 hours, knocking down trees, knocking into houses. We got a lot of cleanup going on. We've had some power outages here. And I'm not complaining, and I know a lot of people out in California who are enduring much worse than we are. So shout out to everybody in California and the fires. I know what it's like. I've lived out there 4 years, and I've seen the effects that fire can do to the dry environment that's out there. I wish it would rain more, out there, because I would definitely try to come back out there. It's just expensive, man. Shoot. So expensive out there. I'm here in Buffalo, New York, if anybody's wondering, Western New York, and much cheaper to live here than downstate New York even. I lived in Orange County in Middletown, which is about 50 miles from New York City. Spent a lot of time in the Bronx. Spent some time in Brooklyn and all along the Hudson River. I did. I was a district manager for a place called Picture Me Portrait Studio, which was inside the Walmarts. I did that for a year, and it was the lower Hudson Valley, and drove all over that area. I loved it. I loved the southern part of New York State, southeast, and right before New York City. But even that place, it got real expensive. And 10 years ago, houses were going for $500,000 that were in this area would be, $100,000, or less, 200 or less at least. So I got to get, back situated here in Buffalo, and I'm real comfortable here. I don't know what it is. I bought this house. It's not much of a set right now. Doesn't look like much, but I'm working on it. So I'm just playing around with some background images and toys and all that stuff. And we'll get to that. We'll dress it up a little bit better as I go along. But this is just for anybody's watching. I see my mother, and I think that guy is that Sammy? I think Sammy, Ohio. Anyways, this is my first broadcast right now. I'm building this studio at the home, and I'm working on um, doing some more things like this. So maybe a morning show a couple times a week. Who knows? But this has been something I've been planning for a long time, and finally just getting to it and just jumping in and worrying about the details later. And so just keep it locked here. We're gonna do some interviews with some people eventually. I have several other platforms that I can post to, and I want to try to keep it simple and to the point as much as I can. But I do have too many platforms that I could, too many options that I could broadcast this to. So I want to narrow it down to a place, possibly this Facebook page, my YouTube channel, especially, where everybody can just go to one spot and that's where it is. But right now at this point, Shawn P. Greene.wordpress.com. I do have a post from an accident that happened, a couple different incidences that happened here in right where I live in this area, South Buffalo. You can check that out at that blog. I've also got stuff like top tens, and I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm a football fan. So I've had some topics about that, some other incidences in South Buffalo over the years. Um, and that's about it. I mean, anything else that you like to chat about? I'm all about, God, family, country, you know, and sports. So usually in that order. And that's it. That's all I got. Any questions? Facebook fam, I got any questions? Anything. So, well, anyways, my parting word then is, while I'm in school here at UB, I do have some projects. This semester, I'm working on basic documentary. So I'm doing documentary work. I've already posted some of that on the Facebook page, and I believe the WordPress. I haven't done that yet, but I'm planning on it soon. But I do plan to interview somebody, and I'm going to have a meeting today, but in about a half an hour. And if that meeting goes well, it's going to be a great interview. And I hope you guys tune in, because this could be very basic, or it could get real deep. It really depends on my guest. So, but we have so much more going on. This weekend, I got a film competition I'm entered into, and we have a team here in Buffalo. We're going to put this film together. And if anybody is interested in being a part of this thing called the 4 Points Film Project, it's something that they do every year. It's part of the 48-hour film project. It's worldwide. There's 150 plus cities that are involved in this competition every year. And then there's the online version, which is what they call the 4 Points. And let me just Google it here. So I got it up here on the screen for the YouTubers. There it is. Okay. Film competition is basically, they give you a line. I'll read it right off the website here. They give you they give you the prop that you have to use, a line that you have to use in it. They give you a character name. They give you a male or female version of it, and they give you the character's occupation in it. Now, and they say you don't have to make that character the star of it, but the point is to have it in there and make it, obvious. So, 4 Points Film Project. And I believe that's a 48, it's like the numbers, 48-hour film.com / the number 4 PFP. If you go to that, you'll see this is the details of what this is about. I formed a team, and I'm hoping that anybody is interested in being a part of this film project with me. We got a lot of people that want to jump on board as actors, and that's great. But we also need people that want to help in the crew side of things. So I'm talking about person that helps with the sound, people who helps with cameras, and people that are writers, people that are assistant directors. This is all the things we're going to be doing. So we need people to support that as well, not just the actors. And we do have a great pool of actors that are interested in being a part of it. So we're not going to have any problems there. But we do need some help with the crew side. And it might be some of the actors have to be fill in that role if that's the way it works out. So anyways, I got this glass glare. I know I got these kind of glasses. I have to wear these glasses now. I'm getting to the age where if I don't wear glasses, everything's blurry and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, what's going on? Where do I go? So, okay, there I am. That's what I got to do. I got to wear glasses. And these are nice because they're durable. Because I break every pair of reading glasses I buy at the dollar store. So I went to Home Depot, and these are like working flex glasses. These are awesome. Haven't broken them yet. So it's like I don't know how it's real flexible plastic material, I guess. So glass glare it is at this point. All right, so without any further ado, we'll get back to you on. I'm going to try to do this maybe every Monday morning at the very least. And if you guys are interested in being a part of the program while I'm doing this, log on to my Facebook page. Sorry, Facebook. Log on to the Facebook page, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. You can find all my contacts. Go to the Facebook page, Shawn Patrick Greene. And right now I'm on YouTube Live. I'm going to stay on YouTube Live for a little bit longer because I'm going to discuss a couple other things. So just keep it locked. You can find my link to the YouTube as well on my WordPress, ShawnPGreene.wordpress.com. Keep it locked, everybody. Thank you, Facebook. All right, so I finished up the Facebook. That's what I look like, trying to look down at everything. Sorry that I'm looking down. I'm looking down at YouTube right now. I'm looking up at my cell phone camera, taking pictures of me doing all this. The thing with YouTube is that I have my microphone hooked up to the computer that's recording it onto the Yard Stream, the Yard Stream platform that streams it to Facebook. So here we are on YouTube for a little bit longer, 38 minutes now. I do want to see if I can find somebody that's interested in jumping on the call. What happened? Uh-oh. Okay, so sorry, my cell phone video just cut off. I'm just gonna I'll try. I don't think I have that much more space. That's probably what it is. I want to see if I can find somebody that is interested in jumping off with some sort of commentary on the YouTube page. I'm here. Stay put. Okay. I'm sorry. Excuse me, YouTube. Give me 1 second. Let me just make sure. Okay, I'm gonna make sure everybody can stream in here. The convo. Join in the convo, everybody. All right, hang on. Your comments didn't come through live on my Facebook. So I will address them live on my live on in the convo. All right. Okay, so I do have. All right, so here it is. Shawn P. Greene back. You here? Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, guys. So I'm going to put this up on this comment that was asked. Put this on my Facebook page now. I got just too much up. Kanye West, rah, rah, rah. Fantasy football, I'll save that for later. I already talked about Patricia Heaton. Okay, here's my Shawn P. Greene show live, blah, blah, blah on Facebook. Here, look like you see me and you can see me there. It's backwards. Whoa. Okay. So Sammy O'Hyan says, preach it, brother. Okay. Good morning. What's your take on eternal salvation? Wow. Here's where this is going to become one of those theological questions, huh? Sammy trying to get me talking theology now. Eternal salvation. All right. So there's the debate of once saved, always saved. And then there's the debate that you can lose your salvation. Most of the people that lean towards the Baptist faith believe that once you're saved, you're always saved. And people on the more recent side of the Protestant faith, more recent within meaning last couple hundred years, is there's a possibility to lose your salvation. So that's the debate now. So Sammy, you're gonna have to talk to me. Let me see if I can instant message you real quick. Sammy, I'll take your Facebook image off of there for now. So what do you guys think? I mean, there's a lot of people that believe and that. Hang on a second. Let me just get this guy on here. Okay, patience here is. Join me in a live video chat. I'm asking for my dude, Samuel Hine, if he can jump in. And if he can, then we'll discuss what he's talking about. If not, then we'll wait on that topic. But in the meantime, what do you guys feel? I mean, I can say I feel and think a lot of things. That doesn't prove anything. That doesn't mean that I'm right or wrong. That doesn't mean anything. I do believe that what the word says is that I will never leave you or forsake you. What that means, though, is that no matter what I do, God won't leave me. That's how I feel about that. As far as the salvation aspect, the word does say, the trying of your faith worketh patience. That's not the scripture I'm looking for. What's the scripture? It's off the top of my head. I can't even imagine what I'm thinking right now. I have to get back to that one. So just give me one moment. All right. So at this point, there's nobody calling in. I'm going to go back onto this. Okay. So here I'm on the YouTube stream. and I'm still recording myself on my camera phone. So I can kind of, I'm leaning this forward a little bit more. But I just did part of this segment that you're watching now, broadcasted on my Facebook page for about 30 minutes. And this is kind of like the overtime side of things. What do you want me to talk about? I want your opinion. I want you to give me your opinions on what's right, what's wrong, what could we do in America right now? I mean, we have 1 year, they said, from yesterday. 1 year from yesterday, the election kicks off again or the actual date to vote is 1 year from yesterday for the next presidential candidate, 2020. So who do you think's going to win? Who do you think's going to be the front runner for the Democratic Party? I mean, that was a cluster for a while, much like how the Republican side of things is a cluster. I mean, the odds of Trump actually beating that many Republican candidates is astounding. Not to mention the second go around for Hillary Clinton, for her to be defeated again, not just in the primaries now, but for the presidential race. It's amazing. It really is. So the odds were against him and he won. And a lot of people are angry that are on the side of the left, that it was all these backwoods, dumb, uneducated people that voted for Trump, and that's why he's president. And I beg to differ. I mean, there's a lot of intelligent people that support him too, So, I mean, there was a lot of backwoods bumpkins that voted Democrat too, that had no idea what's going on. I've seen it. I've talked to a lot of them. So, I mean, people from the cancel culture, people from woke culture, so to speak, they have a lot of, it's different. That's all I got to say. They're just different. I'm not going to say that I am any political affiliate of anything. I don't have a belief that my political party is my identity. And I don't believe that, that I solely believe in every detail of everything in political parties, whatever one I subscribe to. I did have to register as a Republican for one reason. They didn't have enough people working the polls in the Erie County for New York State generally as a whole, New York State is Democratic, and that's only because the cities subscribe to the Democrats, mostly the cities. New York City and Buffalo, Rochester. The cities are primarily Democratic. So some of these other places in between are Republican dominant. So, but because I lived in Buffalo, and my district is very low on Republicans, period. There was not a whole lot of Republican workers for the polls. So I had to switch my original affiliation with the Independent Party to the Democratic or Republican Party in order to work on the polls. And at the time, I needed some work. I needed something when I came here. So, it was kind of like a necessity at the time for me to do something. Needed money at the time. I'm talking 2010. It was kind of a rough year. But I did something, and so I agreed to go back to the Republican Party, which I was back when I was in the Navy. When I went to Florida, I moved to the Independent Party. Stayed there until I moved back here to New York State. Actually, New York State, I was still independent. And then I was in 2010 when I moved to Buffalo. Moved back to Buffalo. So it is what it is, man. Anyways, I wanna wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving coming up this month. Also, this month is Veterans Day, so next Monday for me, I go out and enjoy Veterans Day. The way I enjoy Veterans Day is I go the entire day to all the places that give out the free foods. Yes, I subscribe to free food. Is that a problem? Whatever. I'll get over it. So, Sammy, I don't see you. I don't see if you're going to be involved in this conversation or not, but we'll see. We'll see if you come up. I got you. You said you shows that you've seen it a couple minutes ago. Maybe, maybe not. All right. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the other things that in my world at this point. I got 3 classes from the University of Buffalo I'm taking. 2 of them are production classes, what they call them. My major is media studies, focus on film production, and I'm minoring in theaters. But this whole semester, it's all media study classes. 2 of them are from in class. I have to be there all the time, basically to get the credit. And one is independent study online. I have a media study, or one class is basic documentary. I kind of mentioned that a little bit. So I got some projects I'm going to be working on for this semester for school, but also for my own accord. I also have a class that's called social and mobile media, or mobile media. And I'm learning how to do apps and Twitter bots and all that stuff. So some of the activity you might have seen on my Facebook page and maybe some of my other places is related to that. As far as the online class, it's called production management, and it really is not focusing on the technical sides of production management like a management class might be, but it's more artistic like the arts would be. And it's being taught very differently on how to approach a production. And the insight given is more creative way of approach of how to do your event. And it's very different. I've never really thought the way that they are presenting this material, and that's the idea. I mean, technically, university is very liberal thinking, free thinking, open-mindedness, all this kind of idea. So, so it's interesting. It's interesting to see where I'm going to go with this. But one of the things I did for kind of like a twofer was I went to the Buffalo and Erie County Botanical Gardens in South Park Lake in Western New York. And what I did was number one, I recorded a lot of stuff. I made a place documentary for my basic documentary class. On top of that, that was my scouting spot for producing something for production management class. So kind of a 2-for-1 thing. Efficiency is what I'm all about. Not laziness, but efficiency. And that's what a smart person will try to do. The other thing is I have interviews that I have to do. One for a podcast that I have to create for social and mobile media. But I also need to do an interview for basic documentary. So now I'm going to create the 2 things with 1 interview. Efficiency, like I said. So it's a good thing to try to do what you can in your life efficiently. Instead of burning yourself out, trying to kill your brain cells, do what you can efficiently. That's just my tip. For as an old man, I'm doing pretty decent, in school. Maybe I can pull up my grades here. I think I can. Not to brag about it, because I wasn't a good student when I was in high school. Graduated of West Seneca West, 1989. So that now tells you how old I am. I'm also a graduate of Pasco Hernando Community College. That was the original name. They changed it to State College now. But in 1998, I had got an associate's degree from there. My grade point average was just shy of, I think, 2.8 overall while I attended there. It wasn't really that impressive. What really was brought down my history was that I went to Central Texas College on the Navy ship USS Ranger while I was stationed there, and while we were at sea for 6 months. I took some classes. Some of them I failed, some I withdrew, and it just didn't do well for me for my grades for the future. However, Pasco Hernando Community College accepted me, and regardless of those past credits, I still achieved a decent grade and passed and got my associate's degree. The problem is I have some credits even from there that didn't do well. Transferring that to the university at Buffalo didn't allow me to go into the program I originally asked for, which was accounting, which I needed a 3.0 or greater in order to get in. Because I was below that, I had to choose an alternative alternative program. And I felt like, well, media studies actually fits me a lot more anyways. So why don't I just do that? So you only needed a 2.0, so that worked out well for me. So I did that, and ever since I've joined, though, I've gotten I've been on a dean's list. So since last August, and I think I'm tracking that right now, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see what I can find. Credits here. I'm looking for my they call it the academic progress advising report. No, I don't know if that's what I want. Might show my student ID number. So I'll try to eliminate that part. Okay, so I'll just put this on the screen real quick. Nope, I won't. Let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, sorry for that. Let's see what I got here. If you can look closely, these are all the transfer credits. And you can see some of them in the past were not too great. B, C, B, 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 D, C, B, C, B, C, 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 B, withdrawal, A. I had one transfer credit with his name. B, C, C, B, C. I wasn't that great. And this was back in 1996 through 1998. These were these classes. D, and then I had two Fs. I think those were from Central Texas College. Withdraw, CCBB. But since I started with UB, it's been all A minus all the way through. And these are the next three classes I'm on right now. So pretty proud of that. I'm grateful. God's given me opportunity to go back to school, to finish something I started years ago. And, I now have I got a 3.8 something overall GPA from UB. My overall transfer credits were, I think this is everything. For everything was 2. Okay, so I brought up, because of UB, I brought up my GPA to 2.897, which is still not saying much, but at least I'm getting better. My overall Buffalo credits are 3.893, not including going through this semester. That's 34 credits, so almost 3.8. My transfer credits were 2.468, and that was 79 credits. So that wasn't the best, which is why I did not get into accounting. But media studies works for me, so I'm happy about that. So I am not mad at myself for at least getting to that point. All right. So, not bragging. I'm just sharing the news. I'm happy about it. I'm grateful that God has opened the door for me to do school again and just being creative still, while being, maintaining sanity, I think, so. All right. Well, for now, thank you for watching on YouTube. Thank you for watching this segment. And you can always check me out, Shawn P. Greene, SHAWN, Shawn P. Greene .wordpress.com. All my links are there. All my videos, all my blogs, all the things I've done that I want to share are there. So keep it locked.